Well, I'm back with another episode of Top 5 Mods. Last week I became a Pokemon Master. This week we've got even more mods, including a Wacky Weapon mod, and also a Wackier Wacky Weapon mod. That is a tongue twister. But let's get started. At number 5 we've got Hide UI Hotkey HUD Toggle. There's been a few mods out there on the Nexus that allow you to configure your user interface, or UI in short. They allow you to change things to your liking. I got one myself actually, mine's called Pleasant UI. I configured mine to have a Fallout Freestyle crosser. It's also a lot smaller and a lot more pleasant than the vanilla UI overall. And lastly, I also made it white because the vanilla green kind of hurts my eyes. It's really bright. But this mod allows you to tweak when your HUD shows. You get a little config tool in your A section. It's got two HUD modes, manual and automatic. Manual allows you to use a hotkey to turn your HUD on and off. And automatic automatically turns it on and off depending on whether or not you're in combat. And then there is two styles, basic and hardcore. Basic hides some of the HUD elements and hardcore hides all of the HUD elements. So the best option I found to be manual with hardcore. This pretty much means that you can turn the HUD on and off with a number key. It's pretty good for immersion. I mostly just like it because I can turn the HUD on and off for recording. The only downside to this mod is that the HUD still shows when you're aiming down your sight. That kind of seems like an oversight. Still a pretty nifty mod, I thought. At number 4 we've got Madcan Fury Beans. So this mod adds in the Madcan Fury Beans tactical melee weapon to the game. It's pretty much just a table leg with a grinder blade and a can of Heinz baked beans bolted to it. But now DayZ is no longer the only game that allows you to beat people with a can of beans. Although this can of beans is a bit souped up. A pretty impractical weapon probably. A pretty interesting weapon though. Unfortunately there is no modifications available for this thing, although I don't really know what more you could attach to this weapon. Maybe a can of soup strapped to the other end, but that's about it. Anyways, it was definitely good enough to beat down the Mr. Handys and Gutsies at the General Atomics Galleria. So yeah, if you're a melee guy and you're looking for something new and unique, well, it doesn't get much more unique than this. Coming in at number 3, it's Crafting Fury 9000 GTX Buildable Armor Stands, Decorations and Furniture. That is a really long mod title. But this mod adds in a collection of armor stands, furniture, decoration, picture frames, potted plants and some extra props. To show all these things off, I made my very own IKEA showroom. Off to the left we've got some mannequins in case you're wondering which outfit you want to buy. Then moving on we've got some nice filled shelves, filled cabinets, a pen cup on my desk, and a bobblehead shelf. Then also a kitchen area with a nice clean fridge, a stove, and of course some crates of Nuka-Cola, in case you get thirsty. And lastly, we also got a nice clean bed. Yeah, this mod also has a beautiful selection of potted plants to bring some green to your interiors. And just a bunch of items to really spice up your interiors overall, really make them come to life. So if you enjoy building pretty things, then this is definitely the mod for you. But now we're gonna move on to the gun mods, because there is no shortage of gun mods coming out on the Nexus right now. Besides the titties, left, right and center, there's just gun mods being sprinkled around. At number 2 we've got AS Vector. So this is a submachine gun based off of the real-life Crysis Vector, which has an unconventional recoil reduction system with an inertia block, or so does Wikipedia tell me. Unlike the real-life thing though, this one fires 10mm by default, so it's powerful enough. It also has a nice high rate of fire, but if you still feel like your damage output just is not high enough, you can also add a 45 receiver. Overall it is a nice looking weapon. The animations are a bit off though. My character kinda looks like he wants to shoot off his own fingers. And the reloading animation is a bit but that is just another case of Bethesda, please hurry the fuck up and release this creation kit already, Jesus Christ. But maybe that's just me. Now the Vector is pretty standard when it comes to customization. You can change the receivers, add a few different sights, bigger magazines, and a suppressor if you like to be quiet. When installing though, you can choose between a Dark Wasteland version and a White Institute version. I went with the dark version, but if you're a white polymer supremacist, then that might be the Vector for you. In any case, it's definitely good enough to pacify a pack of wild gorillas that escape from the zoo. Fortunately, that doesn't really happen too often, but in case it does, you got the right tool for the job. At number 1 this week, we've got the Scar LK Assault Rifle. So this is the Scar rifle from the Crysis games. It's been brought over to the Fallout universe. So this thing fires 5.56, it shoots quite fast, and overall it just looks really pretty. It also has a fair amount of modifications available. You can change the stock and receiver, you can decide whether or not you want a long or a short barrel, and of course a bigger magazine. But it also has a bunch of different sights, including some combat scopes with different magnifications. And finally, you can add your own paint job. It's got some nice hex paint jobs available. Overall, a sleek and nice looking assault rifle, just perfect for taking out a bunch of crazy mutated double-headed albino deer. Okay, I have to admit, that doesn't really happen too often either. But when it does happen, you got a nice sleek assault rifle to help you on the job. And finally, we've got another bonus mod this week, it's Car Launcher. Sometimes in Fallout 4 you have to fight 3 legendary Gojira in a pond at the same time. I mean, it can happen. Now you might be thinking, I'll just use a Fatman for that. But a normal Fatman just isn't going to cut it. Gojirai are fierce creatures. You need something with a bit more punch, so you need a car launcher. So you can have a Fatman that shoots exploding cars at your enemies. Pretty effective, but still a tad bit too slow. You need a faster shooting car launcher to take out these Gojirai. Fortunately, you can also strap the car launcher receiver to various small arms, such as the hunting rifle and the shotgun, but also to the deliverer of death. But yeah, I'm really not sure whether or not it's supposed to make the tank engine sound effect. That might just be a remnant from the Thomas mod, I'm really not sure. What I do know is that you definitely want to watch out when firing these cars in rapid succession. I think the bigger cars have more inertia, so they kind of have a tendency of bumping into each other and then exploding. And when that happens, they kind of have a tendency of killing you as well. So it basically just means that if you fire too fast, you go boom. But yeah, if you're looking for something that's absolutely overpowered and eccentric, well, look no further. So that was it for this week's mods. The first DLC for Fallout 4, the Automatron, will be released on the 22nd. It's about some crazy guy making a bunch of robots. And this guy is inspired by the one quest you did in Fallout 3, where a bunch of robots fought off a bunch of ants with some sort of superheroes. If you haven't heard about that, you should definitely watch that quest. It was quite crazy. But when that's released, maybe we'll see some crazier robot mods as well. But in any case, I should be able to stack up the crazy robots in my arena. Anyways, I should be back next week with a fresh batch of mods to check out. So hope to see you then. So yeah, this is yet again that little segment where I tell you that you should definitely go watch a top quality video in the bottom left corner and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But this is also one of the most direct ways of getting a message across to at least a part of my subscribers, mainly because I don't really do vlogs. Anyways, the way things are looking right now, I should be in Austin, Texas for the last 2 days of RTX and sometime after that as well, for a little America trip. Now, I've never actually been up in the States, so this is gonna be quite the adventure, and I thought I'd undergo the full Texan-American experience. Now, I don't really know how many old-time Arma fans actually watch these videos, or whether or not they're new Fallout fans, or if anybody actually cares. But if someone is based in Austin or lives really close by and wants to meet up, then I'd be up for that, I suppose. I should have enough free time on my hands when I'm there. So message me, tweet me, send me a carrier pigeon, a telegram if that's still available. Whatever is your preferred method of communication. And yeah, that was pretty much all I was gonna say, so see you next time.